Hello YouTube and welcome to my new... Guess what guys? I reached 100 subs. You know what that means? 99 people and Grandma don't mind seeing my name on the sidebar. Grandma doesn't even speak the language. Oh, by the way, if she asks, Pokemon is the devil's game and we're all going to hell for this. The rules are still the same as the level 10 only challenges, but here they are in case you want to go over them. Once again, I believe the strategies I used before can still work here, but to make things more exciting, I decided to go with a different strategy. I recommend you watch the previous two videos if you haven't done so already. With that out of the way, let's move on to the challenge. Continuing with the Spider-Man trend, the game introduces an even younger professor who definitely didn't get the job because of his looks. Our story starts with Jade, a drunk 12 years old. Sad, I know. No kid should be called Jade. Let me tell you how it all started. It was a beautiful morning. Ah, what a nice little birdie. Oh, you son of a... Come on, Cinderella, we have 5 viewers waiting here. On our hunt to kill the bird, the game introduces a table full of children who all happens to be my rivals. The game also has so many rival battles and cutscenes that made Pokemon Black blush. Don't be shocked, but your mom is single in this game and has a crush on the professor, so there's no way this game has a happy ending. I can't get a goldfish, but my mom is allowed to keep this overweight unicorn as a pet. Best thing is, we can start with our team right away. But we have a lot of trading to do. That's it. That's my team. Unlike previous games, we now have everything in 3D, 3D grass, 3D houses, 3D underage kids, 3D annoying wild encounters. We go through a 3D version of Viridian Forest. Man, some people should not be drawn in 3D. I need to stop saying 3D. We use skates now to get places faster because running is so Gen 5. Also, I'm not good at it. First gym leader is an unfortunate byproduct of Instagram and social media. This paparazzi right here. It's easier to show my strategy on stronger Pokemon, so I'll explain it on the next gym. As for Viola, she's not much of a challenge since she only has a level 10 and a level 12 Pokemon. So getting her Pokemon to sleep, using Substitute, and getting them confused was enough as they took damage from Curse, especially that she kept on using Harden with her Vivian and only attacked me once with her signature move. With that, first gym leader is down, you may now update your Facebook. In this game, we get the experience share and the lucky egg. I'm not crying, you're crying. Pokemon games usually imitate a real-life city or country. Pokemon X is based on France, and when it comes to Europe and culture, not only do I have a fine taste, but I'm actually an expert.
There were 3 lies in that sentence.
Hola, buenas noches, me gustan los monos. No thank you. I've watched horror movies and the blonde chick never makes it. And for some reason, she's always spoiled. Speaking of first world problem, this guy lost his dog in his own backyard. You know you made it in life if that ever happens to you. Let's never talk about this. I have 2 questions. Where does he go for number 2? And do I really need this badge? I bet you anything this guy is just stuck. 2 shoulder cramps later, we challenge the gym leader. Here is how it goes. I start with Volbeat, which has the ability Prankster, and go for Trick. Trick swaps held items with the opponent. If only one Pokemon has a held item, which is almost always the case, then you simply give over your item. You don't lose the item as long as you're using the move in trainer battles, not wild encounters. I make Volbeat hold the item Lagging Tail, which makes the Pokemon go last in its priority bracket. This is really important since it allows Volbeat to go first when he's holding it, but the opponent goes last when they hold it as long as they don't go for a high priority move. With that, Volbeat roll is done, I wait for it to go down and then bring Drifloon. I put the slowed Pokemon to sleep since I now go first, and I reset the battle if I miss. Once the Pokemon is asleep, I focus on doing 2 things. Getting Substitute up and raising my evasion with Minimize, which increases my evasion by 2 stages, not just 1. So after 3 turns, I can get my evasion to maximum. With max evasion, the opponent's chances of hitting me with a 100% accurate move is 33%. It gets even lower for less accurate moves. Once I reach max evasion, I make sure the Pokemon is asleep again while Substitute is up before baton passing to my last Pokemon, Duskull. My evasion stats and my sub are all passed along, so once Duskull is on the field, I prioritize the following. 1. Always having Substitute up. 2. Getting the opponent confused using Confuse Ray. This applies if they snap out of confusion as well. 3. Use Curse if I haven't done so already. And 4. Use Pain Split to take them down faster and to heal my Pokemon. Getting the Pokemon confused lowers the chances of me being attacked even more. Pain Split adds the current HP for both Pokemon and divides it in half. Not only does it deal a great amount of damage to the opponent, but it also heals me to full since I'm only level 1. A few gyms from now, the opponent would be at red health and I would still recover to full health while dealing damage. Also, Pain Split healing allows me to use Curse and Substitute as many times as I want. They also work well with Pain Split since the lower my HP is, the more damage I deal. In fact, with a full HP opponent, I can take them down to almost 30% in one turn just from Curse and Pain Split's damage. This applies no matter what level the opponent is because both moves scale with HP. The strategy depends on luck, but the odds are heavily on my favor that I usually don't have to reset once I get my first minimize, because that's when I know my enemy will eventually have to miss. But getting to that point is not always that easy. In fact, this is one of the few fights that goes straight forward for me. Almost every other gym leader has their own issues that I will have to work around, as you'll see later on. Actually, there are several challenging battles by trainers who are not main characters in the story, but nothing that isn't covered by the challenges that I will face throughout the video. So I'll be covering how I handle each case during those battles. One final point, I couldn't find a way to prevent my Pokemon from gaining XP. The best I found was making them gain 1 XP, so after each battle, I used a tool that resets my Pokemon's experience. This requires me to save and reload the game after each battle, but at least it's a way to keep my Pokemon at level 1, so I'm fine with that. With that, the second gem is down. Whee! Unfortunately, you only get Smoke Ball later in the game, so encounters have been really an issue for me. I'm not really superstitious, I'm just a little stitious, so let me rub my lucky charm and hope we don't get any more wild encounters. I encountered 6 robot dancing Nosepass. Hold on, let me get rid of something. Hola, mi burro is tu burro.
Again, you're not speaking French!
You know how each game has that one annoying gym? That's the one for me. I'm just not big on running after kids, begging them to battle me. Mienfoo has Fake Out, so I use a level 1 Pidgey as a sacrifice before bringing out Volbeat. I use Trick before it takes me down. She always switches to Machoke every time I bring out Drifloon. I get it to sleep, but Lagging Tail is now with her Mienfoo, not the Machoke, so I don't outspeed it. But I still manage to use Substitute and get my setup going before baton passing to Duskull. Keep in mind that the held item will remain till the end of the battle, so once her Mienfoo is switched back in, I'll still outspeed it. Outspeeding the Pokemon is not always a good thing once I have my setup completed, because even though I can guarantee that it will never kill me, since I can simply use Substitute the next turn if she manages to break it, I can be put in a risky situation because on the last turn it can break my sub, leaving me vulnerable to her next Pokemon. If I'm slower however, which is usually the case, I go for a safety Substitute on the last turn, even if my Substitute is up already, just to make sure I have it for the next Pokemon. These small things matter a lot, and that's why it's also important to play around the AI's healing. Also, remember when I said that I reset my Pokemon's experience after each battle? Yeah, I forgot to do that here. That's why my Drifloon levels up during this battle to level 2, but I never use him in this battle again, so technically I did not break the rules. Whee! I get the Lapras and teach it Surf, Strength, and Rock Smash. If this game offers more riding and less scary old people, I'll play it all day. You look beautiful, sir. Please don't kill me. The 4th gym leader was scary, the battle however, not so much. His Jumpluff knows Leech Seed, but luckily never uses it, or it would have been a problem, since it would carry on to my Duskull when I baton pass. Things don't go his way as his Jumpluff attacks itself in confusion, and with Pain Split plus the curse's damage, it goes down from 75 HP just in one turn, so he never gets a chance to heal it. So I have to keep track that his next Pokemon, Weepinbell, is going to be healed once it gets low enough, since that healing turn I can use to my advantage. Weepinbell misses both of its attacks as I get it confused and use Curse. Remember that thanks to Pain Split, I can keep on using Curse without having to worry about running out of HP. He manages to break my sub, but Pain Split and Curse were too much for him, so he had to heal. I bring my Substitute back again as he does that. Gym leaders heal up to 2 times in this game if they get a chance, and that's the case here. If you think that's annoying, wait till they switch from Hyper Potion to Full Restore. Without healing items, it takes me around 3 turns to take down a Pokemon, so once he runs out of healing items, his last Pokemon should be easier to kill. His Go-Goat manages to break my Substitute twice, one of them on his very first turn, which was a little scary, but I managed to get my Substitute back up the following turn. A few turns later, I take him down. I am not changing this music. Man, this guy ate his vegetables. Oh, a guessing game. I'm good at those. Are you kidding me? The 5th gym is a huge problem for me. I will be using a second Drifloon in this battle to bait his first Pokemon, Emolga. Emolga has the priority move, Quick Attack, so I can't outspeed him with Volbeat. It also has Aerial Ace, which bypasses evasion, so no matter how high my evasion is, it will always land. His 3rd attack is his weakness, which is Volt Switch. It's his only electric attack, so he goes for it every time a Drifloon is up. Luckily, once he does that, he's forced to switch. That's when I bring out Volbeat and start my normal setup. But the fight is not over yet, since remember, Emolga still has Aerial Ace. Notice that I have 6 Pokemon in this battle. I added 2 more Pokemon and I taught them the TM Protect, as you will see why later. Once I baton pass to Duskull, his Magneton shouldn't be a problem. I want to make sure not to kill him before he uses both his heals, because I can't let him use a healing item on Emolga. I managed to do that, and luckily for me, he always keeps Emolga last, otherwise this plan wouldn't work. I still have to take down his Heliolisk, so I get it confused, use Curse, and with no healing items, he dies in the next 2 turns as I go for Substitute just in case he breaks it. I need the sub because as soon as Emolga comes out, it will break it, and I'll take that chance to use Curse. It's a stalling game from here, and by the time he takes down 2 of my Pokemon, my PG is remaining, and I still have Protect, so I take it down before it manages to kill me. This was the worst battle for me so far, but it's nothing compared to the trainers I'll be facing soon. A friend calls us and tells us exactly where to go next, which the game tends to do a lot. Back in the older games, you could get stuck for a week because there's a stupid hidden item in a gym. I'll give you a hint, it's in the water. Dude, that's messed up. I say we call the cops, then go for ice cream. Next is a 3D version of Saffron Gym, and the gym leader is 3D Sabrina with a Byakugan. I have been judging people by their looks all video long and forgot that there are more to them than what meets the eye. I just quoted Transformers and I don't feel so good. Valerie is not that tough. Her first Pokemon, Mawile, has Feint Attack, which also ignores accuracy, but luckily she doesn't use it a lot. I only found out she has it after I already had my Duskull on the field. So you can think of Valerie like the game is giving me a break to what's about to happen in the next gym. I get my normal setup going, and then baton pass to Duskull. I reuse Substitute every time she breaks it with Feint Attack, but manage to use Curse and Confuse Ray when she uses Crunch or any other move. This goes on for a while as she wastes both her heals on it before I manage to take it down. Next is Mr. Mime, one of my favorite Pokemon, and I managed to take it out the same way. Notice that I almost died a few times in this battle, and that what made this challenge so much fun. You're excited, focused, and on the edge of your seat the entire battle, since if one thing goes wrong, the fight is over. A few more turns later, I defeat her last Pokemon. 6 badges down, 2 more to go. Next is some good music, bad guys, and even worse guys. Am I doing this right? Something feels off. Get out of here with your sexist jokes. I'm sorry ladies, I'll talk to him. Just before the 7th gym, we get our 700th rival battle.
Game freak. Yeah.
Olympia is next, and boy is she annoying. The setup phase is not a problem, but her Sigilif has the ability Magic Guard, which prevents it from taking any indirect damage. This includes Curse, but doesn't include Pain Split. So I have to lower her health with Pain Split and force her to kill herself with Confusion. This is what I tried to do here, but I first have to get rid of her 2 Hyper Potions, so this is gonna take a while. With my low HP pool, I can take her to red health just with 1 Pain Split, since my HP is 11. Especially when I use Substitute and Curse to lower my health even further. Keep in mind that I go first during this fight because her Sigilif now holds Lagging Tail, so that helps a lot. Meowstic is next. Now if you thought the previous fight was bad, this is even worse, because her Meowstic has the ability Infiltrator, which ignores barriers, and for Gen 6, that also includes Substitute. Without any healings, I take a Pokemon out in exactly 3 turns, so I need it to not attack 3 times in a row, whether by missing or hitting itself, because that Substitute you're looking at is absolutely useless here. Sorry, I got carried away. But you just experienced how I felt during the entire challenge. You don't get that kind of excitement in a normal gameplay. After I finally take it down, I'm already celebrating and not paying much attention to her Slowbro, since I know that at this point the fight is over for her. So many things have to go wrong here for her Pokemon to actually kill me that I consider it a guaranteed win. 1 more badge remaining. After defeating the gym leader, I get a call from Wolverine. Thankfully, the world is getting destroyed, so I don't have to fight the rival again, but I realize I'll be fighting even more bad guys, and that's when I got to drinking. But no more. Time to take down some angry good-looking criminals. After some spinning, we battle a few bad guys, get the elevator key, more spinning, a lot more. 3 minutes of a sad, unskippable cutscene about a huge guy and his tiny dead Pokemon. Things get weird when he decides to revive it by destroying the entire world, which made absolutely no sense, so I stopped reading after that point. Just like in the Matrix, Mohawk Morpheus over here offers us the blue pill to save the world, or the red one to destroy it. I was going for the blue pill, but then found out that this is a thing, so I went for the red one. Is there a pill to destroy the world without a cutscene? If so, then I want that one. You were awesome in 21. We won't let you ruin this terrible place. Alright guys, there are 6 of them and 3 of us. You know what to do. Guys? I need new friends. Once again, we're forced to catch a legendary Pokemon before the fight, but I filled my entire party beforehand, so this way I don't have to use it. Next comes a series of questionable events, like, what the hell is he wearing? Why are we fighting on the sun? And more importantly, why is this house still up? Alright, good news first. Lysander doesn't heal his Pokemon, so that makes this battle a lot easier. Getting my usual setup wasn't a problem either. Bad news, his Honchkrow knows Aerial Ace, so I have to keep that in mind. Pyroar is his second Pokemon, and I get really unlucky here, as he manages to hit me with Fire Blast twice, even though it has 85% accuracy. This forces me to use Substitute several times, and I go down to 2 HP before I get a chance to heal by using Pain Split. Notice that even though his Pyroar was at red health, Pain Split still healed me to full thanks to my low max HP. Next is his Honchkrow. Luckily for me, he doesn't always use Aerial Ace, and when he did, it was never used when it really mattered. Otherwise, he could have killed me. One final Pokemon remaining. His Gyarados has Intimidate, but joke's on him, I'm already useless. After 3 turns, his Pokemon goes down to almost 1 HP, 1 more turn, and the fight is over. Last gym leader is a tough guy who has no idea how jackets work, and his gym happens to be inside the Rubik's Cube. The fight is a little challenging since not only does his Abomasnow starts heal, but he also has Ice Shard, a priority move. So using Volbeat is not an option here. Instead, I start with Drifloon, give it Bright Powder, and reset until he misses his first attack. This is when I get him to sleep, and I don't recover from leftover anymore, so Hail's damage is putting me on a timer. In case you're not familiar with this, Substitute doesn't protect you from Hail's damage. He remains asleep for 3 turns, and by the time he's up, I get my evasion to max, and Hail stops, so things are starting to get better for me. Once my setup is done, I get him to sleep again, then baton pass to Duskull. I take him down the same way as he heals him twice. Watch how much damage he loses in 1 turn right after he heals him the second time. Yep, it hurts. 2 more Pokemon remaining, and there's nothing special here. Once again, I just keep in mind that if the opponent outspeeds me, I always go for Substitute on the last turn. Just in case he does manage to break it, I set it back up. Somehow, I have 8 badges and now qualified to challenge the Elite Four. Whee! One last rival battle before the Elite Four, which is probably my second hardest battle in this whole challenge, at least until I came up with the strategy I'm about to show you. Let's start with the bad news. 1. I have 5 spots because I needed Lapras to get to this point in Victory Road. 2. His Meowstic has Fake Out, so I need to start with my favorite scapegoat, Pidgey. But it gets worse. His Meowstic has the ability Keen Eye, which prevents the user from losing accuracy, but in Gen 6, it also ignores the opponent's evasion stat, so maximizing my evasion against it is useless. Oh, we're not done with the bad news. You would think Keen Eye ability is at least better than having Infiltrator, which can attack through Substitutes, but that's not entirely true, since he has an attack called Disarming Voice, which is one of the sound-based moves that, starting from Gen 6, affect Pokemon behind Substitutes. He doesn't always use it, but he only needs to use it once for me to lose the battle. Needless to say, that thing has to go down fast, but I still need to maximize my evasion because that is only the beginning of the fight. So after I dodge its Fake Out and give it Lagging Tail with Volbeat, I use a second Duskull that I always keep for the rival. The good news is, he doesn't heal his Pokemon, and now that I outspeed it, I use Duskull for Curse, since now I can kill it in 4 turns. During those 4 turns, not only do I have to waste time, but I have to try and use as many minimizes as possible after putting it to sleep. So if Meowstic doesn't kill Duskull in 1 turn, or if I fail to put it to sleep, I have to reset. I only managed to get 1 minimize, but I decided to go with it anyways. Luckily, that was enough for Jolteon to miss charge and for me to put it to sleep. I then managed to get my normal setup as I go for substitute and maximize my evasion. Finally some breathing room, but I still have a long fight and I only took down 1 out of the 5 Pokemon. I baton pass to Duskull and take them out one by one. I wanted to play as safe as possible, but if I just keep on using substitute, I won't have enough health to take them all out, so I had to go for pin split whenever it's safe enough, and by that I mean his Pokemon is confused and I'm behind the sub. With that, the rival is down. That scene was sped up by 150%. You get the point. Time to take down the last 5 trainers in the game with 3 level 1 Pokemon. The Elite Four can be challenged in any order, so I just chose them randomly. Let's get this thing started. Even though I chose the Elite Four at random, the first one I picked happened to be the worst of them. Malva's Pyroar has one of the sound-based moves, Hyper Voice, which again means she can attack me behind substitute, so the setup phase was annoying. However, she doesn't always use it, and if she did, she can still miss. It gets even better since Hyper Voice is a normal type move, so once I baton pass to Duskull, he can't use it on me anymore. So even though she was a little annoying, we've gone through worse. One thing that makes the Elite Four more difficult than their previous trainers is that they now use Full Restore. Full Restore won't heal Curse's damage, so as long as the Pokemon is in the field, it will always get hit with Curse, but it does heal the confusion. So I have to get them confused again after each heal, which is something that I might not always be able to do, since in some cases my sub might be down, and in that case I'll have to prioritize getting my substitute up again over getting the enemy confused. Second Elite Four member. Once again, the setup phase is not a problem. His Klefki has Prankster, but doesn't have a non-attacking move that is a threat for me. He does however break my sub 3 times before I was able to take it down. I just have the same issue against every first Pokemon, which is that I always go first, so I might not guarantee to keep my sub on the last turn. Thankfully, this wasn't the case here, and I managed to keep it, especially that Scizor hits me on his first turn. I also managed to get him to use both his healing items on his first Pokemon, which is usually a good thing for me, again because I'm faster and because it makes the rest of the battle easier. Now all I have to do is take the rest of his Pokemon down and hope that they don't hit me twice in a row. You can imagine how it felt every time my sub broke. I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name, but he's next. He's nothing special, but I failed to get him to use his healing items on his first Pokemon. It is hard to control this sometimes, because it depends on whether he hits himself in confusion or not. This means he's going to use them on his second Pokemon, Gyarados. Things get scary as well since his Gyarados breaks my sub, but luckily he was low on health, so he had to heal the next turn. Once Gyarados and the healing items are gone, I only have 2 more to go. His Starmie and that thing. I get them confused, followed by Curse, and 2 turns later, they each go down. Final Elite Four member. I want to point out that none of my moves make contact with the enemy. This is important since some Pokemon like her Dragolgy have abilities which can get me poisoned or paralyzed on contact. If that happens mid-fight, I would have to reset the whole battle. So these are some of the things you want to look out for. I take her first Pokemon down, but only manage to get her to waste 1 full restore. Altaria's next, and I can expect her to use her second heal once it gets low enough, so I have to make sure I confuse it again once that happens. 2 down, 2 more to go. She always keeps her Droligon last, and I actually outspeed it because she keeps on using Dragon Tail, a move with -6 priority. The only move that is below it is Trick Room. This is good news for me because that means once I get to Droligon, the fight is over since he can't kill me. Also, Dragon Tail switches out the opponent, but it fails to do so if the opponent has Substitute, so even if it lands, I can use Substitute again. With the Elite Four down, we challenge the champion, the only trainer with 6 Pokemon. Diantha is really annoying. This was the hardest battle for me, and it's not because of a specific Pokemon or a move. First of all, during the entirety of the battle, Diantha heals at least 4 times with full restore. This means I'm effectively battling 10 Pokemon with just my 3. But the worst part is how her AI handles healing. It took me several tries just to understand how her healing AI works in order to play around it. She doesn't heal the same Pokemon more than once, except for her last Pokemon. Out of her first Pokemon, she doesn't heal 2 consecutive Pokemon in a row, so if she heals her Hawlucha, she won't heal the second Pokemon, but if I manage to kill it quickly before she manages to heal it, I can expect the second Pokemon to be healed. I did not read any of this on a website, this is all based on my experience, and I had to battle her a lot. Starting off with her Halucha, I take it down and manage to waste her first heal. Notice that I get her to red health a second time, and she didn't heal it, but that does not mean she's out of healing items. It does mean, however, that I don't have to worry about her Gourgeist getting healed. Gourgeist's fight was scary because she manages to break my sub twice, and on top of that, I misclicked Pain Split on the last turn, healing her Pokemon and actually lowering mine. The small healing wasn't the issue, it's the fact that I should have gone for Substitute in case she breaks it, but thankfully she didn't. Tyrantrum is next, and no matter what happened with the previous two Pokemon, she's going to heal it if she gets a chance. Once again, she won't heal him more than once, but she's not out of healing items. Aurorus is next, she won't get healed and she always goes for Blizzard, which doesn't have the best accuracy, and thankfully, it goes down without breaking my Substitute once. I have died to her Goodra 4 times, so I was really nervous at this point. I do believe she heals her Goodra if she gets the chance, but I'm not 100% sure. Only her final Pokemon is remaining, Gardevoir. A level 68 Mega Evolved Pokemon versus a level 1. It's tough to say, but my money is on the level 1 Levitating Towel over here. All healing rules that I mentioned before don't apply here. This thing gets healed at least twice, so I have to take it down 3 times. Things go well for me, and I manage to lower her health twice, up until she breaks my sub on the very last turn. If she manages to hit me, I'll go down, but luckily I don't have to find out as she attacks itself in confusion. And with that, I become the champion. Somehow. And I finally get to level 2. What? Why are they being celebrated? They made things harder. That's the most disappointing ending since Game of Thrones. I won't be commentating AZ's battle. I believe you only get one chance to battle him, so this was my only attempt. I do want to say a couple of things, however. I want to thank you guys for your support and the nice comments you've been writing on my videos. And as much as I enjoy doing the level 10 or level 1 only challenges, this will probably be my last one for a while, since my laptop is not good enough to run 3DS games, especially while I'm trying to record them. But I promise you I'll get back to them as soon as I get a chance. One more thing, with the coronavirus outbreak, I just wanted to check on you guys. Please make sure you stay safe and remain at home as much as possible. If you have to go outside, just make sure you're paying attention. You don't have to be obsessed about it, but just keep in mind to wash your hands, maybe put on a mask, and stay out of crowded places as much as possible. Stay safe everyone, and see you guys next time.